Welcome. This is Crimey Queen. If you are joining or watching us for the first time, this is the channel where we get excited about words, numbers, and we have fun. All right, so this is all derived from my journey of actualizing self-full love that led me on to writing two volumes of The Crimson Light, a bridge to actualizing self-full love, and getting onto the bridge of actualizing self-full love. It was there numbers started popping at me. But of course, after publishing, I thought, yes, I will relish in the idea of investigating numbers. So there we are. Now, having done those presentations, we have developed, that is, my elders, 7 elders on my journey, and of course, Spirit, um, have have derived this wonderful template of which we work out numbers and make sense of words and see how they impact on our lives. So we have been working with it sounds like we have been really working with Satan, yes, but that is in line of the presentation that we have done. We have seen how Satan is a construct of man. That is very brave thing to say, but yes. According to the numbers, yes, this is how it goes. Okay, so really, if it makes you feel better, um, God is number 8 and Satan is number 1, and 1 and 8 is 9. But of course, it goes in different ways as well. Okay, so here we are. Just this is the fourth presentation on Satan. Satan equals the number 10. We have worked on this. What I would like to cover on here is that I have been talking about a hidden chamber in the letter B, which corresponds, according to Revelation, our key, which corresponds to the number 13. So it's 1 and 3. So in the letter 13, in the word Job, is a hidden construct that equals 13, which corresponds with the word revelation when added together, 13, and of course equals 4. It also corresponds with the number of chapters in Revelation, which is 22, when added together is also 4. It corresponds with the 4 seasons. It corresponds with one of the elders' presence, and of course, north, south, east, and west, and a lot more to 4. We know the 4 elements, and so on and so forth. So we've covered that. This is the secret chamber, the secret place. Now, what has transpired, because I had just been so curious about wanting to understand what we now use as a beeline, but this column is the basket and bread. If you go back to my presentations, this was an intuitive revelation that I ought not to shift or reposition these letters as they came in order of the alphabet. This I have done with JAS, I call jazz, and look for luck. I have changed these over. I have also changed V and M, of course, development here, and new. So in that, I hadn't changed D or W. So these will transpire later and to see how best they reveal these mysteries to us. In this secret chamber, this is what I would like to further explore. I've also noticed that the K, as I said, has two strokes to it. We have seen how these two strokes here reflect in these two numerical values of Satan, S and A. So this is 11, which corresponds to the word Jesus, which is what we are recognizing that we are 11, master number. Okay. Also, we see another two here. It has just come to my attention that this T goes like this. So this is a representation of our behavior when we are not really standing firm on our own 2 feet. That is the message that I am getting here so far. So we do the beeline, but the beeline it's where we hide. Um, of course, it is because with the beeline here, it's 2 lines as well, but we are able to hide things in those chambers here because it is sealed on both sides. This is where I think the key lies for a lot of the things that we are seeking to understand. So with K, this is separate ends, and we have 4 ends here. And with T, we have 3 ends here. 4 and 3 is 7. 7 is what takes us to what we need here, that agreement that takes place where we need to recognize ourselves not only as a fox, but we also go through that journey, that gypsy journey. Revelation is so wonderful. And here I have just done the T, the last letter, but also under the gypsy we have T transpiring here. That 3 point that I am talking about, it's transpiring here in that T. Isn't that delicious? Okay, all right. So this is what I would like to point out here for now, but it's back to that chamber. What I came across a text, and Spirit is just leading me so wonderfully, and it's really about when Judas took bread. When Judas, that is in the scriptures, John chapter 13. This is 13 again. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's just get this here. Let's get this here. So we had Job. And this is why. So in John, oh, my pen is John chapter 13. So we see there is that 13 is transpiring here again. Chapter 13, verse 27, 2 and 7. And there's the message here for 2, because we had 2 appearing here in Job, and 7. This is where it's like he is meaning to get to this point of 7, or where we get to that 7, 2 and 7. So this is where we make that agreement. It is denoting agreement, it is denoting harmony, it is denoting, as we say, 2 of all hands, 2 eyes, all what 2 represents. But also it's that agreement because 2 is seeking partnership. It is not seeking, it is partnership. So we have in 13 here, it's like a double agreement takes place here. It's like a union, whether it was this way or that way. There's a union. One is supporting each other here. There's an agreement happening there. And I am believing that it's also denoting, I am not so certain yet, but it's also denoting, depending from the angle that we are looking, that it really is also representing 8. But that's yet to be investigated. And then we see 2 and 7 is 9. This so. Now, this 9 here, let's do this in this chapter. with Judas. When Judas took bread, it is said that he took bread and Satan entered into him. Mm, 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 mm. So we have four for 1 and 3, we have 4, and then we have 9. If we add this together, 4 and 9 is 13. Mm, 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 mm. Delicious, delicious. 13 yet again. 12, 13. I am adding double because this is just so delicious. So we have that one, and we see a union. In actual fact, this B is really confirming the agreement that takes place here in 2. 13 is revelation. The number 1 and 3 is revelation. This is the number that many of us are so scared of, and it's no wonder we are looking at our lives is in separateness when we this is really telling us when we are in a unified spirit with ourselves, when we are looking at life as the whole, we are doing we are being. Oh, mm, 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 mm. We are be. This is so delicious. Okay, so there we are. Let's stick to B because B is really nice, and it's no wonder. Wow, I don't know who named that bee the honey bee. Let's just look at honey as we've done this. This is just so delicious, and we see we start with 8. Honey starts with what looks like 8 here. 4 and 4, 8. Okay. So 8, 6, 5, 5, 7. So that is 10. That is 24 and 7, 24. That's 31. 24 and 7. 10 and 1, 11. 31. That is just so delicious. Have we discovered something very profound there? I am now whispering. It's as if I've got to be certain that this is really, um, of course, 31, which is a mirror of 13. So this is where we go in that cycle on the newness and go back into partnership with that B or with that 3. Mm, 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 mm. This is delicious. This is delicious. Now, have I even covered the point that I really was pursuing? Of course, I've gone with honeybee. We understand what honeybee is now. Let's call this honeybee. Honeybee. And we have to be careful what sort of partnership union we are creating here. All right. So, number 4. So this is 4. B is foundation. This is our foundation. Now, I can't help but think that that also looks like a breast. 2, of course, a pair. And it just helps me to think that um, the word, okay, this is for another presentation, but it's really okay. All right, let's leave. So honeybee And when Judas took bread, bread is also 21, which equals 3. Judas took bread, which is 21, equals 3. Took, T-O-O-K. This is 2, 6, 6, 2. We see the significance of 2 here. This is a partnership here, 2 and 2. And we see 6 and 6 here. So it's that we took 2, 4, 6. There is a 6 here. It's as if there is a very profound message here. In fact, so beautiful that I think I need to do a separate presentation on this. But however, the point I really want to make is that when it is said Judas took bread, Satan, 10, went into him. The word into, because when something is into you, there is a connection. So let's see what into is. Into. This is 9, 5, 2, 6. That's 8 and 9, 17. 8 and 8, 16 and 1, 17. And 5 is 20 and 5, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. 22, which also equals 4. Again, reflecting that 4 partnership here, the 4 in that B. So I am getting the impression that when that 22 happened, Judas was able to see, and it's also him is also 3. Okay, but Judas was in a position that Satan went into him from this point here. So there was the bread, which I've spoken about. There's where the Last Supper had taken place. There's the breaking, that's when he ate of that bread, that there was an agreement that Satan went into him. Satan entered him, meaning that there it's in that union. There was that it's in that eating, it's that meal or that eating was served as an agreement, as a unity, as a so we are told as if that the word betray would be interesting to explore as well, but it's as if that something terrible had happened, and Judas hanged himself. But it would be interesting to understand the whole dynamics of that subject. But what is transpiring, however, is that there was an agreement in that breaking of the bread when he took of the bread. It's taking of something. There became an agreement, a union had happened, and that his participation in what was to come would be manifested. Yes. So he took, and Satan, meaning 10, this crosshair, like some would say, he was laden with guilt, whatever that cross or whatever development had happened, had taken place here. But Satan is in direct correlation with 10 here at that point, in that point here. And so, if that was as far as what Judas was able to relate to, that Satan entered into him. Into, as I say, is 4, but we need to see the construct of that 4. the construct of that for is very important. So into into is 9. So it means that from starting here with that 9, that Judas would have been able to identify with that 9 all the way here. So there was a union to carry forth that, because he was more or less paying a due as well, paying his due to the inland revenue in the sense of his action or participation in that sacrifice. Okay, so we see 9, 5, 9, 5, 2, and 6. So Satan went into him or entered into him. So there was a journey. He has already gone from 6 or 9, went through that position, 9, and back to 6, where he became that fox. But I have just drawn this reference to show that even when we say that, okay, as well, that 5 from 9 and 5, 9, 5. We see that a newness had taken place here from 9, and that Judas had come to the position of 5 where Satan could meet with him. This is the point here. And so there was an agreement with the number 2. An agreement with the number 2. I'm hoping that you can see this. Okay, so it's into, so Judas was here. There was that sacrificial participation on his part as well, but Satan being 10 and also having the key to only go to 5 from that point. So it's as if Judas had already established or been at that point, but he had to get to 5, going back from 9 to 5, of course, going back from 9 or from 9 to 5, or of course 6. We have 6, but really connecting with Satan on this point here. There was the agreement taken place. Okay. I think we may have to explore this point a bit further, but I'm hoping you have enjoyed this. I hope you have found it interesting. And if you like this presentation, click the right and like button and share, because this is how we do it. My voice, of course, I've been talking all day, but I'm glad to have had this opportunity. All right, so of course, in the meantime, stay blessed, stay bright, and stay ignited. Namaste.